Okay, hello there. I am Steve Keefe. I'm the broker owner of Coldwell Sky Ridge Realty, located here on the mountain. We service from Crestline Lake Gregory through the Lake Arrowhead vicinity all the way up into Big Bear. We've got an office located in Blue Jay and also in the Big Bear market. So we spread out across the mountain. We do a tremendous amount of work in Crestline, and so I wanted to provide you with the June update for market statistics for the Crestline Lake Gregory market. This report provides a year over year comparison of residential sales activity in Crestline, contrasting the 2024 data with the most recent 12-month cycle through May 2025. So just yesterday, we actually closed out May. And so this gives you a general snapshot. You can see the top line is the last 12 months. The summary of 2000 activity, so that's year to date, is the middle row. And then the bottom row is a comparison to 2024. So the Crestline market has remained relatively stable. You can see that there were 227 homes sold in the last 12 months in 92325 zip code, slightly down from the 2024 number of 233. So pretty good stability there. Year to date activity, as a comparison, there's 86 homes versus 92 that sold same time period in 2024. So we're trailing slightly behind on the year to date figures. Pretty close though, pretty stable in comparison to many of the other markets here on the mountain. Primarily focused on the fact, and I'll get into that in a minute, on the fact that Crestline Lake Gregory is much more affordable than some of these other markets. There's currently 136 active listings, and that number is up, as you can see, from 2024 of 117. So that's increasing competition among sellers. The sales pace, so how many homes are selling on an average on a monthly basis. Again, very consistent, averaging at 18.9 closings per month for the year-to-date 2025 versus 19.4, so just slightly down. Buyer demand has held steady, but the rising inventory, you can see that there is more and more inventory coming on, and continued high rate of failure. You see those in the red column, the number of homes that did not sell during, and I didn't touch on that actually, up above. The other key performance indicator is the number of expired or withdrawn listings. And so that red column is properties that went on the market and didn't sell for whatever reason. You can see there's a very high number. In some markets on the mountain, that number is actually larger than the number of sales. In this particular case, it's less, but it's still a very significant number. That has to do with overpricing, poor presentation, potentially dealing with an agent that maybe is out of area, that isn't really on top of the game. These are all things that contribute to a listing not selling. Buyers are active, but increasingly discerning. We're experiencing them being much more finicky about what they're doing. There's currently 8.5 months of inventory. You can see that below the first row. Shows that that kind of gives us a general indication of whether or not it's a buyer or a seller's market. Typically 6 months of inventory is going to be a balanced market. So back in 2024, that's what we had, was 6 months of inventory. It bumped up to 8.5 for the last 12 months, and it's actually at 9.4 for year to date. So you've got more inventory. You've got it's shifted more towards the buyer's side of the transaction. The seller is no longer in the driver's seat. Page 2 and 3 gives you, these are all the homes that sold in 2024 versus year to date 2025. You got a couple outliers here, 500 days on market, 600 days on market, but for the most part, they're all hovering right around 125 days. Some shorter, as you can see. There's going to be homes that sell quickly because they're positioned correctly price-wise and they have an effective marketing plan. And then you've got some that sort of trail, that they reduce their prices over time, and they're going to stretch out past that average 125 days. In comparison to 2024, it was 104 days on the market. Currently, we're looking at 125 so far year to date for 2025. So homes that are taking longer to sell with increased options and less urgency, buyers are content to wait. Sellers who respond promptly to those conditions are more likely to generate early interest and get the property sold, probably get a higher sales price. Those that don't risk the prolonged market times, languishing sometimes on the market for extended periods, multiple reductions, and the inevitable buyer question, why has this thing been on the market so long? What's wrong with it? Page 4 and 5 are the activity trends. So this gives you a general indication. I told you that you're looking at about 18 to 19 sales per month. This gives you sort of what's happening year round. This was for 2024, fairly consistent, steady number of sales. You had a couple spikes in there, September, November, with 25 and 27 respectively. This is what 2025 looks like. So slow start, January, February, picked up some steam March, April, May. So those numbers are above the averages. Hopefully those numbers continue and we see some additional good numbers for the Crestline market. Going back to this graph, I just want to highlight some key year-to-date pricing data comparing 2025 year-to-date versus 2024. Median price per square foot. We typically don't do things on price per square foot here in the mountains because there's so many differences regarding location, quality, age, all those types of things that come into play. But it is a useful number for us to look at as far as overall sales and whether or not there's any appreciation in the market. And so the median dollar per foot in 2025 year to date so far is $273 a foot and some change versus 287. So what that tells me is that in 2024, the median sales price per foot was 287, slightly higher than it is currently. That tells me that we're seeing a little bit of depreciation in the market. Sellers are having to be more aggressive about getting their property sold, kind of lowering those prices. Median sales price in 2025 is currently $380,000 versus $360,000 in 2024. So interestingly enough, the median price jumped, but overall value, I would say, remained flat to slightly negative. The highest sale in 2025 so far year to date is $749,000 in Crestline versus in 2024 we had one sale at $1,050,000. The lowest sales price in 2025 so far year to date was $125,000 versus $80,000 in 2024. So those are the overall numbers. I would say that Crestline Lake Gregory is performing better than most of the other markets on the market on the mountain, primarily because of the affordability. You're looking at upwards of $850,000 to $900,000, almost double what the actual median prices are in Crestline Lake Gregory. So good news for those sellers. Buyers are still finding value in Crestline. Overall, pretty solid market in comparison. As I mentioned, I am Steve Keefe. I do run the Coldwell Banker office here in town. I've been on the mountain in the real estate industry since 1989. Happy to meet with you. Happy to send you a copy of this report. If you'd like it, you could just text me or call me at 909-744-7690. If you'd like us to come out and give you an opinion of value on your property, we're happy to do that as well. But please let me know if there's any questions that you have regarding any of the data, or if you need additional specific information about your property, because mountain properties are specialized. And it's important that you have someone who has knowledge about those specialties and understands the market to make sure that you position it correctly and you can take advantage of the market. So let me know if I can help. Have a great day.